up, you guys? Welcome back. I'm so excited to have you here. I'm so excited that we are on episode number 2 and that we're getting to talk about something that's been really on my heart recently. It's very prevalent, and I think it's probably because I'm like a week out of yoga teacher training, which was a 10-day immersive experience in Costa Rica. But before that was like a couple months of just really deep diving into being a student, into learning all the philosophy, into learning anatomy, into learning some Sanskrit, into learning the flow and memorizing all the things. And so I am in a place right now where I feel like I can start connecting with people more and start sharing more. But for a good 6 days at least, I was tired, I needed rest, I wasn't really the most social, just really been leaning into this idea of integration. And this is something that I feel like I've been building a relationship with for a very long time. I don't know if it's a Gemini thing or what, but I am somebody who, my loop has always been to, dive into all the learnings and knowledge and trying to find everything out and implementing as soon as I get the answers and just go, 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 go. And it brings me into this loop of exhaustion, feeling burned out, feeling lost again, feeling like I ride these very intensely. So sometimes I'll be on a super high, I'll be so emotionally yay, got it figured out, got all the answers, sweet, I can run with it, to feeling so emotionally whoa, deep down, dark in the depths, this is so low, I feel so lost and questioning everything, all this doubt is coming in. And that was my pattern for so long. One of the things that helped me out of that and into a more empowering loop, and one that made me feel like I actually had control in my life, was this idea of integration. And this idea that it's really just about reflecting and pausing. This idea that when you reflect and pause between the things, you not only become a more open channel for downloads and soul-aligned next steps to come in, but it also starts to build a muscle of inner peace, where you're more neutral to the emotional waves of life. You're not riding them. You're really still and confident in who you are, and you're understanding the bigger picture. And it has really helped me feel calmer in my life on a daily basis, and also more trusting in the process, more able to soften and to see that something greater is leading all of this and that I don't have to worry. And that's really come through giving myself an opportunity to sit and reflect on, what did I just let go of? What am I releasing? Really getting a strong sense of that, not just being wow, I shed so much. It's no, what did I actually let go of? Naming it, owning it, and then getting really clear on, what am I moving towards now? What am I now stepping towards? Because when we release things, we forget sometimes that we need to replace it with something else, because otherwise you're just riding in this big gap period, and that can create a lot of issues. That's where people start to feel unclear, really confused in their life, and it creates all these downhill effects. So you'd be surprised the amount of people that don't know where they're going in life. They feel so lost and they wonder why life feels like it does. It's because they don't have clarity. I've coached hundreds of people one-on-one at this point, and I can confidently say it doesn't matter the status, it doesn't matter the person's job title, the age. So many people feel extremely lost and confused and don't have a clear picture of where they're going. And I really believe that pausing between the things, pausing between the immersive experiences, or just a busy day-to-day life, pausing between all the tasks and just focusing on your breath and coming into yourself a bit more, can ground you and can create that sense of peace and trust in the process, and can take away a lot of that anxiety and the burnout and the toxic loops we can sometimes get in this human experience. For me personally, I had really burnt out adrenal glands and tons of anxiety and constipation issues and all kinds of things, because I just wasn't flowing with the process. I was just trying to control everything. And I think what can happen when we're not integrating, aka reflecting, breathing, pausing, getting that clarity, that can be oftentimes what's happening, is we're trying to control the outcome. We're so focused on taking everything we just learned and gained to then bring it into our life and run with it and go. There's this urgency, which can be beautiful, because I know a lot of people resonating with this are the change makers in life, right? You're the action takers, which is great. But life, I think, is more about letting go of control always and just flowing and receiving and trusting. And it's so much easier to do that when you pause between and you understand, what did you just let go of, and you get clear on, what am I moving towards? It's kind of like, you think about relay races where they grab a baton, right? I think if you just go from an immersive experience, or go from your tasks so quickly in life without pausing and reflecting and breathing, it's like you're missing the baton being passed to you. You're in this relay race, but you're going so fast, you're just trying to get to where you feel like you're supposed to go, that you completely miss the point of the race, which is a relay. You're supposed to pause, grab the thing, and then keep it moving, right? But if you're trying to control and you're moving so fast, it's like you completely miss the handoff, aka the wisdom and the information and the downloads that want to come through you when you're a more clear and open channel, when you're pausing and you're being for a moment, and you're not forcing yourself to move so quickly to the next thing. Also, integration is deep self-love. It's saying, I am enough and I am worthy in this moment of surrender and stillness and being right now. I don't have to do anything to be worthy. I'm just listening to what my body needs. My body needs me to slow down. My body needs me to be. And that's plenty. And I'm safe, right? It's this deep self-love and deep self-acceptance when we do that. And part of it too is we're allowing ourselves grace. I can say all of this because when I look back and I reflected on why integration was such a struggle for me for so long, up to this year, to be honest with you, it was because I never gave myself grace. I was never kind to myself. And it makes sense why I had a lot of acne issues, and I had a little bit of weight issues, and just wasn't my optimal self. Not that it's about looks or anything, but I look at all those outside issues I felt I had, and I look back, I'm like, well, it was just mirroring back to me how I was treating myself. Was just never giving myself the grace to slow down, because I didn't feel like I was enough if I did. I felt like I always needed to be doing something to prove my worth, and that's crazy. And so with all of this, the biggest thing with integration is to know that it is about slowing down, reflecting, bringing in consciousness to the experience you had. Because when we're in the experience, we want to be, as present as possible. But oftentimes, even in that presence, a lot of things are happening. And unless we're taking the time to journal and reflect in the moment when we're there, we can miss a lot of things. So it is so crucial to take a moment to really look and say, what did I get from that experience? What do I most want to release? What do I want to bring with me? Is there anything I need to dive deeper on? Is there anything that came up and I had a question about it? Or was there any triggers that came up for me and I felt like, what was that? It felt sticky. Or is there anything that feels like it's still lingering that you didn't get closure with? Really diving deep. I'm just coming off of yoga teacher training. I was in Costa Rica for 10 days, and that experience was really amazing. But I noticed when I came back, and I'm still, in these WhatsApp communications with everybody, I noticed that I don't want to compare or judge anybody. Everybody is going through their own processes, and I only know what I'm seeing on WhatsApp. But being the empath that I am, I could kind of sense that there was a mix of energies going on in the group. And what I observed was I felt like I was having a more gentle time, being a little bit easier on myself, not demanding so much of myself. Moment one of coming back from that experience that was really life-changing and life-shifting for myself. So what I observed when I got done with the teacher training, as I'm in this WhatsApp group, is there was kind of two camps that people seemed to fall under. One was they just didn't feel motivated. They were tired and exhausted, and they felt shame about it. And they were watching everybody else moving very quickly, and they seemed to have this energy of, I should be doing more, or, wow, I'm so inspired by you. How are you doing that right now? I don't have that in me right now. There's kind of this shame and guilt and almost FOMO in a way. And then this other group, and I don't know what's authentic and what's not, but the way I tuned into it is a lot of it felt obligatory. It felt like people were doing it because they felt they had to. Was a sense of people already asking to assist classes and already teaching classes and already trying to practice nonstop again, and just not ever ending the teacher training. There was no defined finish for them. They were just like, I gotta just keep going. And so if that was of their highest self, then beautiful. But I kind of got a sense that it wasn't for everybody because of some of the commentary that came with that, which was just feeling stressed, feeling worried. Oh my gosh, I'm getting these opportunities. What do I do? I'm freaking out. I want to puke. Like those kinds of things coming in. And I was just really grateful for all the opportunities I've had in my life to practice or being aware of needing to integrate and working on that muscle. Because it is really a muscle. Anytime we're wanting to change ourselves in any way, we have to give ourselves grace and understand it's going to take some time to get there. I felt really grateful after this experience to have been spending so much time over the last few years building that integration muscle and giving myself the opportunity to just breathe, trust, relax, and surrender to what my body needed coming out of those experiences. And so I feel like I've really given myself time to get clear, and it's been amazing because I started this podcast. That was not even on the radar whatsoever because I had already started a podcast. If you listen to the first episode, I shared that I had a podcast before and it was fine, but I just felt like I was starting to shift away from it. And because I gave myself juicy time to pause between diving deep with clients again and all the things, I started getting these downloads of where I needed to direct my energy, where I was being called to utilize my gifts and my talents. And that was such a relief because I came out of that training being like, whoa, well, what now? There's all this stuff to do, but I'm feeling all these other things I could be spending my time on. And so I felt really overwhelmed. And the downloads that came in were very clear. They were reviving my business, utilizing my gifts, which is my voice and my coaching, and leading with that. I'm putting that as my number one priority. And I don't know that I would have done that if I had just tried to be in control and do all the things I thought I was going to do. I was going to be focusing 100% on yoga teacher stuff as well. So I get it, but I'm also just so grateful. And so this is why I want to share this with you all, is because integration is so important. And also the last thing I'm going to say on it is that, again, if you're missing that baton toss, you're also missing the point of the entire experience that you just had in that immersive experience, whether it was a training or a retreat or a travel trip or whatever. You're missing the point of it by not grabbing and absorbing all of the lessons and the understandings and the reflections in the in-between time. And so it becomes detrimental to not take the time to integrate, because otherwise, if you're not absorbing and clicking into that next level you that you're being asked to step into, what's going to happen is you're most likely going to have to learn all of the things again. You're going to have to learn it all again. And that blows because it's usually not as gentle and nice as the first time. I think Oprah said this before, where the whispers from the universe on what you need to know get louder and louder and louder and more forceful as you go on. And it behooves you to really tune in and listen the first time. And you can't do that if you're trying to jump from one thing to the next thing and control so much. So I hope this can be helpful, and I'm just so passionate about this topic, especially now that I'm seeing the benefits in my own life, and I just want that for you too. It really is the foundation of building a life where you are in control and you have power.